All right. All right. We are live. This is Liz Bellini, and I am the CEO and founder of Team Persevere. And for today's team call, we have a special guest, and our special guest is Frankii Newbery from the United Kingdom. And she is going to be talking to us, coaches who are just anticipating the launch of the United Kingdom coming up here in October of this year. So we know for a while now, for the past couple of months, that Beachbody was going to be expanding into a new market, and we had our speculations. We thought maybe it was going to be, Mexico or Australia or the United Kingdom, and I was behind here crossing my fingers hoping that it would be the United Kingdom because Frankii and I have actually known each other for quite some time thanks to the worldwide internet web. And just to kind of brief you a little bit on how we met and what our relationship is, I will just take just a couple of minutes to I guess introduce how we know each other. So Frankii and I met on MyFitnessPal actually in 2012. So we met on MyFitnessPal, logging our meals and working on our fitness goals. And we got to chatting privately, and I found that Frankii was a big fan of Shaun T, who we know as one of our amazing super trainers and probably one of our most popular super trainers. She has done quite a few of his programs already. She had some amazing results with Insanity and T25, has dabbled in size. So she knows Beachbody inside and out. She's been a big fan for the past 5 years. And when we heard that the market was going to be opening up, we're crossing every, T and dotting every I and crossing our fingers and our toes and everything that we could cross, hoping that it was going to be the United Kingdom that was going to be the new market because, I truly believe, she's ready for this. She's meant for this, and her heart is in the right place. And she's so excited about this launch that she has so graciously offered to come on to our team call and really help us, fill us in on her home, her country, their culture, how they differ, how we're the same, and maybe give you guys some tips on how you can start connecting with some UK contacts and what the best way to go about doing that is, so that we can bring this amazing opportunity to their country and start building a really great relationship. So without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Frankii and give her the floor.
Hi, thank you for having me. So as Liz said, obviously I've been a massive fan of Beachbody for like 5 years. I can't believe it's 5 years. And you all know that the program's been here for quite a while, but there has been, I'm sure you already know, a massive demand that the coaching opportunity comes here. There are so many people who I've spoken with who are like, finally, I've been waiting for so long. So it's the perfect opportunity for your business to kind of go international. It's so exciting, and there are so many people in the UK who know what Beachbody is, and there's so many people who love Beachbody but also didn't even know that the coaching opportunity was coming, and still don't know. It's just that information hasn't got there yet. So that's so exciting. So I just go really kind of what I see as basics, but it's not, because our geography is ridiculous. It's so confusing, and people don't know what's included and what isn't included in the UK. And even some of us didn't realise certain bits were included, and it was really quite confusing. So there are in total 4 countries which make up the UK. And you'll all have heard the names of them, but you might not have known whether they were all together or not. So there's England, which is the country that I live in, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Those 4 make up the UK. And the one thing I just need to stress in terms of the countries, Northern Ireland and Ireland are 2 separate countries. and Ireland is not part of the UK. So that is something quite confusing that actually a lot of people from the UK get confused with. So there's where the border is, it literally becomes a different country. It's got different currency, very, very similar culture. I guess it's kind of like the US and Canada, where you can get there really easily. It's not difficult to get there. They're very welcoming, but it isn't the same. So they're the 4 biggest countries. They're the ones that you'll have probably heard of. And there are actually 3 teeny tiny countries which are probably smaller than most towns in the US, let alone it being a standalone country. So those are called the Isle of Man, Jersey and Guernsey. And most people from the UK, especially prospective coaches, don't know that that's included. So I was speaking to Liz and kind of we noticed that that's like a little niche area. And we say niche differently. So that's like a little niche area, but they are included as part of the UK in terms of this. For the geography, it goes into a whole different ballgame, but I won't go into it. So that is where Beachbody is actually launching across here. So now that's the kind of geography, that's the school lesson out the way. In terms of the people from there, we don't all sound the same. People think that we might sound like the Queen. I think I'm proof that we don't sound like the Queen. Some people do, but not me. So there are some really kind of broad accents that you may struggle to decipher if you actually hear people speaking. So particularly the Scottish and the Northern Irish accent are really, really strong, and can genuinely sound like they're speaking another language sometimes because their slang, like I've sat there speaking to somebody from really right at the top of Scotland, which is the top country in the UK, right on the top, and I've sat there and I'm looking at Chris, my husband, I have no idea what they're talking about. So if you have no idea what someone's saying, don't panic, because most other people wouldn't know either. Well, it's up to you. I'll ask you this. I've got loads of like different things that I could talk about. Do you want me to talk about kind of logistics in terms of what our currency is and that sort of thing, kind of go down that route and some of the kind of foundations?
Yeah, I think, talking about like the currency and what that's like for you guys. Let's start there.
Yeah. So our currency is pound sterling, and it's kind of a really funny little symbol that's really hard to write even if you use it every day. So you will see in terms of it in letters, it'll be GBP, which is a Great British Pound. And you will hear people interchange the name United Kingdom and Great Britain. And I'm sure there is a difference in terms of legally and all that stuff, but to us it's the same thing. Nobody would get offended if you use those words interchangeably. Time zones, they are super confusing. So currently we are in British summertime. So in terms of Eastern, we're 5 hours ahead, so which is why this is an awkward time, because currently for me it's 6 at night, and I think for Liz that'll make it 1 in the afternoon. So we're 5 hours ahead, and then from the 29th of October we fall back as well, and our timing becomes Greenwich Mean Time, which is GMT. Greenwich is spelled Greenwich, so that would take us back an hour. Now another thing that I might probably mention is measurements, because we don't like fall one way with you guys or like fall the other way with Canada. We like to mix it all together and do it really awkwardly. So in terms of height, most people will refer to it in feet and inches. Weight, this is the one that I know it completely baffled Heather. Heather finds it hilarious because we measure weight, like for a person, in stones and pounds. So stones, for 1 stone, it's £14. I have no idea why. It's completely random number, and it's really awkward when I'm trying to like convert, because I now just measure in pounds because it makes more sense to me. But a lot of people from the UK will measure in stones and pounds. So if somebody was £140, they would be 10 stone here. So very awkward. And this is a handy thing to know for recipes. We don't measure in cups. Like that baffles me. I don't know what things mean in cups. I don't know what that is. So just so you know, cups, we have no idea what you're talking about. For fluids, we measure in milliliters, which is where I think we do the same as Canada. We don't really measure in fluid ounces unless we're making babies' bottles, which for then some reason we go back to that. And I think that's basically it for measurements and maths and that sort of thing. I'm sorry that that's really boring. It's just so that when people see recipes and things, you might get questions. Yes, it probably will be really, really common that you will see comments from the UK of like, oh, I want to lose 2 stone. And it's like, well, actually, they mean they want to lose nearly £30. And I think the UK people then have a distorted view on weight, because to lose 2 stones sounds like, oh, I've just got 2 stone to lose. But if you say I've got 28 pounds to lose, I think then people suddenly go, oh, wow, okay. So I do think that the UK generally has quite a distorted view on body weight, probably because of that. 'Cause when you say 1 of something, it sounds a lot less than 14 of something. So, but you can always ask me. So like, feel free to add me. Ow. Feel free to add me, guys. Like, if you've got any questions and that sort of stuff, just fire your questions my way. Another thing I did think about, because I was in the supermarket earlier, all of our labels on food that you buy, I don't know if it's the same. So if I'm saying things that are exactly the same to you, just let me know. But all of our food has labels on the front, which has kind of calories, carbs, protein, sugar, and then they're graded in red, amber, and green. So if there's kind of obviously low calories or low sugar, they'll be in green. If it's quite high, it'll be in red. I don't know how well the system's really received, or if people even look at it, but there is a system there. So I think the government kind of started to make an attempt at trying to control it, but the obesity rate in the UK is the same as the US. It's just climbing and climbing every single year. So yes, the labelling of food, we do have that. There are slight attempts, but I don't think that they're getting anywhere, if I'm really honest. I'm having a flick through because I've written some notes on things. A question that I think it was Heather who asked about kind of weight loss companies, so things that you might come across. We do have Herbalife, we do have Weight Watchers. We've also got Slimming World. I don't think that's in the UK. I think that's UK. In the US, I think that's a UK thing. So that is our version of Weight Watchers, basically. It's really similar. So rather than counting points, they count sins, which is a really optimistic way of looking at food. And they have lots of free food that they can have as much as they want of. I'm not quite sure how it's successful, because in those free foods is pasta, potatoes, rice, and they can literally have as much as they want. So I'm not quite sure how that works, but that's in their little process. I've never done Slimming World, so I don't know the ins and outs of it, but you will probably come across a lot of women who are doing it or have done it. Yes, yeah, it sounds like just like Weight Watch, then people like flip between the two. So they'll do Slimming World for a month and go, oh, that's not working. So then they'll try Slimming World, and then they'll go, oh no, Weight Watchers was better. And then they'll just keep going between the two. Another few, we've got the Cambridge diet. I don't think you'll have that, but it's basically the UK version of Atkins. And Diet Chef, I don't know if you have that. They literally deliver food to your door. It's that one isn't actually that bad. They deliver like healthy food to your door, and all you do is add vegetables to it, basically. But it's something that's really simple. It is just kind of clean eating, but it's delivered to your door. And then we've got Slim Fast, which I guess you guys have as well. And they're the main weight loss companies. So, and Juice Plus. Do you have Juice Plus? Yeah. That's probably the one. When Shakeology is mentioned, that's probably where people will start going, oh, well, I can get it cheaper from Juice Plus. Yeah, but there's loads of sugar, but we won't go into that. So they're the main ones that you will hear mainly women in the UK referring to, especially Slimming World and Weight Watchers. I think in terms of like that sort of stuff, that's the majority of like the shoving facts all down your throat. Sorry, have you got a question? I thought you were...
No, I just unmuted myself. Yes, take a drink. You've done a lot of talking so far. So one thing that while you were naming off, the things that are popular in the UK, which will be a good thing for any, US coaches or Canadian coaches to go. Mara's yelling at the dog in the background. He did something bad. But one of the things that we could use, in connecting and finding UK prospects, especially on Instagram, is using these types of hashtags we could use because that are only available in the UK. So we know we would be connecting with people from the UK, like hashtag Slimming World or hashtag Diet Chef, hashtag Cambridge Diet. Things like that.
The other one that you will see a lot, which will be a really good one because I think it's a plan in Slimming World. I'm not sure. I just see a lot of people who are doing similar. Hashtag food optimizing. And we spell optimizing with an S, not a Z. And we say Z, not Z. So yeah, hashtag food optimizing is one that comes up a lot. I'll have a look because I've got a few people who are doing it who I know. So I'll look at all their hashtags like on Instagram and I'll screenshot them and pop them in the Facebook group so that everybody can kind of see what hashtags are being used. But yeah, definitely Slimming World's probably it's the most prevalent one at the minute because I think everybody's suddenly like summer's over, it's going to be Christmas, and they all suddenly want to lose more weight. So yeah. Sorry. Yeah, definitely. That is a really good way of getting into the UK. Another a few tips in terms of, because people from the UK are weird. Like we're weird people, and we know that. So a few tips in terms of making connections and being friends with people from the UK. One of the key things to know is that generally at first contact, we're quite reserved. And it doesn't mean that we don't want to be friends, and it doesn't mean that we're not interested in what you're saying. The best way to describe people from the UK is we are awkward. We are socially awkward, and we are overly polite, and we are the culture that if we're like Canada, if somebody bumps into me, I apologise. So when there's a brand new kind of social interaction, it is something that makes most people from the UK quite anxious, even if there's a screen between you. So if you are making kind of contact right at the beginning and you're not getting much back, don't panic. You're not necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just the way that UK people are at first. They have to have some level of trust first. Which I know most of you all do anyway. I know Liz does it. Like, you connect as people before kind of Beachbody even comes into it. And that's how the UK like it, really. We, as when I say we, I'm quite an outgoing person from the UK. So I will chat to anyone. I'm overexcited about everything, but I'm kind of unusual in that respect. So when you first speak to people from the UK, they will be really skeptical. They'll be like, why is this American or Canadian person suddenly contacting me? Like, who are you? You know, are you going to try and rob me of all my money? they'll be quite distrusting, really. And please don't be put off by that, because they will be nice. Well, not all of them, but most people will be nice, same as anywhere. There'll always be some rude people. But the main thing to do is be you. So if you is like really over the top, and what UKs will probably see is like typically American, so really big and kind of cheerful and in your face, I love that. And some people might be a bit nervous, or that's not their sort of thing. Please don't change the way you approach things just because we're a different country. In the same way as if it's in the US, if that person doesn't like that way, that's fine. So you will find people who receive you well. So please don't change who you are to try and fit with our culture, because that won't work, and it's not right for you, and it won't be right for them. And there will be people who will receive you really well. It's just finding those people. Another tip, so when you're putting like the transformation pictures up, try and use people you know. So like use people within the team or that you've had contact with, because one of the questions you will probably get is, do you know that person? Because if most UK people, if they don't believe that you know them, will think, oh well, it's just photoshopped. And I think Liz had it with somebody from the shift shop, because she had her hair down and then it was up in a ponytail, and people were like, well, how's her hair that much longer? It's like, well, she took it out of her ponytail. And so people can be really distrusting of things. So the more close to your heart and close to you that you can keep it, the more well received it will be within the UK. Also, our understanding of distances, which is a really random note, I've scribbled this down, I can't remember why it came into my head. Our understanding of distances is so skewed. So I went to the end of the country the other day, and it was 250 miles from my house. So and I thought, I have gone so far. I have traveled to the ends of the earth. And we realized that actually, compared to you guys, you're like, is that all? Because your country is just so much huge compared to us. So we are quite small. And you will hear people who are very proud of their part of the country, which you get everywhere. But there's really odd pride somewhere. So there's kind of jokes that are ongoing that you might hear. So I'm from York, which is the old York to New York. I think New York was named after York. And we're in an area of quite a few cities called Yorkshire, which is, we call them counties. I guess it's like a really mini version of a state. Obviously we're so small, but it's like a tiny version of a state. And then we have like a friendly rivalry with our county next to us, which is called Lancashire. And you'll hear people refer to their little area with kind of a bit of a jokey pride. And we like friendly rivalry. And so if you do start to make connections with people from the UK, and they start to joke about kind of you being from America, and we've got a really odd sense of humour. So if something occasionally will come across rude, it might be just that we're quite sarcastic. So people are odd in the UK. Yeah, sorry, I'm going on and on and on. So
that's great. That's really interesting. One thing that I have a question on, that it just kind of came up as you were like kind of talking about, you know, our differences and things like that. Because I know that one of the big things, I know what it was when you said something about pride. That's something that Americans definitely, you know, have. and the Canadians too when it comes to hockey. So that when I thought of that, I thought of sports. And in the United States, you know, football is huge, obviously basketball and baseball. Those are the three main sports in the United States. And people go bananas over their sports, especially. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like their religion almost. Yes. Same thing in Canada, which Canada is hockey. I mean, they're the land of hockey. And I am curious, and I don't think I've even, you know, heard, what is the sport in the UK? Like, what do you guys like? What is your recreation? You know?
There are quite similar. There are three main ones. And it's we call it football. It's your soccer. So we would refer to your football as American football, and then we would say football instead of soccer. That is huge, absolutely huge. There's massive fights between fans because they're so passionate. No excuse, they're just fighting because they shouldn't be. But they say that, you know, because they're so fired up, there's constant fighting in between fans and that sort of thing. But it is enormous. So little boys want to be footballers when they grow up. You guys know David Beckham, don't you? He is like a hero over here. Like, even little boys now, like, he stopped playing football here probably over a decade ago now, I think. And little boys now still want to be David Beckham. He's just kind of like the football god. Yeah. Then there is rugby, which is, I don't think you guys have rugby at all, do you? No. So the football is the same shape as your football. So it's like that funny shape. And it's not too dissimilar to American football. We don't have the same stop and start. You just keep going, and it's all one team that's already on the pitch. And they don't wear helmets or any protective gear. They just go. There's different rules in terms of, we're not allowed to do high tackles, so anywhere near the shoulders and neck is absolute no-go. But that is known as a really big sport here because it originated here in a town called Rugby. And that's a massive sport. And there's all the friendly rivalries. It's huge in the UK. And we don't play as the UK for this. We play as England, Wales, Scotland. Awkwardly, Northern Ireland and Ireland for rugby play together, so they become the whole of Ireland for rugby. But that is huge. And then the third one, which you will probably know from kind of jokey TV stuff, is cricket. Do you know cricket? It's like it's like a bat and a ball, a really heavy leather ball, and it's played on a massive field. Like a circular pitch, and there's a little bit in the middle, and the ball bowls at you and you hit it, and you just run between two places. So I guess it's our version of baseball, really. And that is not as popular as the other two, maybe more popular in like the older generations, really, because it's like a game that people can play until they're like 60. So it's one that it's like a really family friendly type sport, that one. And they're the three main sports. For girls, it's a lot quieter, which is really quite sad. Even things like cheer, we have it, but like, you would laugh at us. We obviously, there's dancing and those, and gymnastics and those sorts of things, but like team sports, we have, like, I played hockey, but I don't mean the same hockey as you. We played field hockey, and so at school we had field hockey, and we have netball. Do you guys play netball? I don't think.
The only thing that I'm thinking is lacrosse, which is a net and a ball.
Yeah,
but you'll see that in the United States, more so in certain areas than others, but not.
Lacrosse here is generally, I don't really know how else to say it. It's generally a rich kids sport, and I don't know why. Is it the same here? Yeah. And I think it's because of the cost of the kit, because I think everything costs like a fortune, but it's seen as the rich kids sport. Netball is not really, but a bit like basketball. So like the goals don't have a backboard like basketball, so it's purely on like aim, and you're not allowed to move with the ball. So the minute you catch it, you have to stand still. And it sounds like it's a really kind of slow sport but if you YouTube it, vicious. It is so fast moving, and that's becoming quite big. And women's football is becoming quite big, because in the World Cup we came third this year. So it's suddenly all the younger generation are kind of coming through in netball, and athletics is starting to become quite big again, because obviously we had the Olympics 5 years ago, and so it's now the rumblings from people who were really little are now like turning 17, 18, and it's pushing through quite a lot. But yeah, the three main sports, you'll see football mums, and we say mum obviously rather than mom. You will see the football mums who, I guess they're like you, like you're a baseball mum, they're the football mums. That would be probably the main one that you'll see. That will be the good link that you've got. So like, I guess you have soccer moms, don't you? Like I hear that in films. Is that a thing? Yeah.
There are soccer moms, but I think in America and maybe in Canada, soccer moms is used as almost as like humor, because you have the big van, and whether you're a soccer mom or not, if you have a big van that seats a lot of people, then you're a soccer mom. Like, oh, I got the soccer mom car.
Exactly the same. Like I've got a big car that has like everybody could climb in the boot, and I call myself, I'm like, it's a soccer mom car. Like everyone can get in it.
Yeah, that's funny. Awesome. Was there anything else you wanted to touch base on, Frankii?
Not that I can think of. You will see. Oh no, the one thing that there were like two main things, but not big things, but two things that I should say. Our healthcare system, we don't pay. You might have seen it. It's called the NHS, so it's the National Health Service, and it's free. So we don't pay for healthcare. So in terms of, I know some coaches, I've never really seen you refer to it, but some coaches might refer to, if you take care of yourself, you can save money on your insurance and that sort of thing. That wouldn't apply here, really. Some people do have health insurance. I'm not sure why, really. But generally speaking, healthcare is free to everybody. And the other thing is we're not allowed in any way to refer to Shakeology as a weight loss shake. And I think it's just because of our laws over here that I think they think that people from the UK are stupid like that, because they're like that we can't understand ourselves that, oh, if I eat 3 McDonald's a day but I have this shake, why am I not losing weight? So just those are just a couple of things to keep in mind kind of when you're discussing things with people. Just if those sort of things come up, just be careful with your wording when referring to Shakeology, and people don't have health insurance.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
Yeah, we're a little familiar with that because Canada is the same way. They don't pay for health insurance either. They're universal like healthcare. Yeah. So we are a little bit familiar with that. Yeah, I know. We won't even talk about the United States and the healthcare crisis because that is a problem. But anyway, but we kind of get that because Canada is the same way. So the Canadians will understand that a little bit more than the United States coaches. Yeah. But we get it from because we know that that's the way it is in Canada too. So the only other thing that I wanted to kind of just mention, because I know that, you and I are working together to help. I mean, even though the launch isn't until October, there are things that you can do right now to help, connect with people, grow your team. So that way, when the launch comes in October, you can be ready to grow your business. I mean, right now, the great thing that we have right now is that the UK does offer Beachbody On Demand, the full thing, the full platform. There's a full, so anybody in the UK can sign up for Beachbody On Demand. There's some things, like Frankii, you have Beachbody On Demand and you do all of the programs and follow the meal plans. And that's another thing too. Like your guys' food is a little bit different than here in United States and Canada. Like fruit in the salad is like totally bizarre for you guys. Like
do you like pineapple on your pizzas as well? Like
yes.
No, that don't bring that up with somebody from the UK because they will either want to kill you or be like, yes, somebody agrees with me. It's one of the biggest debates in the UK ever. Fruit in a salad just baffles me. The only one I would ever think to put in a salad is pomegranate seeds, and that's about it.
That's funny. No, we love to put fruit in our salads, and we love to put, even more weird things on our pizza than pineapple. That's actually a normal thing. So it's just so weird. Yes, that's funny. But to get back on track, the Beachbody On Demand is available in the UK. You have Beachbody On Demand. You're using it. And they're we cannot, I don't get credit from you because we're not connected yet. So if anybody out there that's, watching the call has somebody that wants to get them enrolled, just know that until the launch, they cannot sign up under you. You will not get any kind of commission or anything or points or volume or anything like that until the launch. And there's going to be a conversion link. So that way, once the launch happens, then you can stay in touch with your people and then they will be connected to you. But up until the launch, there are a few things that you can do that Frankii and I are doing is, we are definitely using Beachbody On Demand as a way to get people involved now to start doing the workouts, completing a program, and, taking them through challenge groups and support groups, even including them in some of our free clean eating groups, or any other free groups that we're doing. A really good one that we're both looking forward to is Clean Week. That's going to be coming up at the beginning of October. I think it's going to be launching a week or a week and a half before launch.
It's 7th, isn't it?
Yeah.
7th? Yeah.
It's actually 2.
Can I interrupt for one thing? We write our date differently to you. So when you write the date, we might think you mean a different date to what you mean. So we do day, month, year, not month, day, year. Right. So if you put 01, 03, you would mean the 3rd of January, and we would mean the 1st of March.
Right.
So just if you're confused, just write it.
Right. Yes, that is one thing I did notice too when we were preparing for the webinar and the launch. So I seen how you wrote it, and I was like, I better write it the way I see it because I think that's a UK thing. So yeah, for sure. But yeah, so introducing them to the free things. Definitely Clean Week because that's gonna offer them something.
Clean Week is gonna be huge here because for people who have had no experience of Beachbody, and there's so many people in the UK who just haven't come across it because things like infomercials here, they're very rare. You don't see them very often. If I do, I do see Beachbody ones, but it's very, very rare over here. So a lot of people might never have come across Beachbody, and so Clean Week is the perfect program for kind of that launch in the UK because it's going to have all the moves from all the other programs to go, okay, if you're enjoying this, style, if you're enjoying this food, the Beachbody's for you. So I think that's going to be massive in reaching out to the UK market.
Yeah, absolutely. I do too, because it's going to be great for the US and Canada too, like for introducing people to something that's going to help them start slow and work up to what we have to offer with Beachbody, which is perfect for all the markets involved. So doing that, planning for that now, and also, just hosting opportunity, sneak peek groups, to put the coaching opportunity out there, hosting a webinar. Frankii and I have partnered together and running our coach sneak peeks actually this week and doing a webinar next week. And so far I feel like for the UK people that we do have interested in the group, it's well received. And they're open to it. Yeah. So I think it'll be good. And of course, if there's any other questions that you guys have, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Frankii, and we'll be happy to, answer any questions for you guys. So, all right, Frankii, if you don't have anything else, I'll let you go, get back to your family, because it's about 7:00 p.m. over there.
Bedtime.
I was gonna say
that'll be made.
Yep. Okay, we'll let you go. Be mom now.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you later, Frankii.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.